Hello, everyone. I am Sasha Tanase. I'm a product designer and user researcher, collaborating and contributing to the Threshold Network, which has been formerly known as the KEEP Network and NewCipher. I am also one of the co-founders of the Web3UX user research panel. And what I like to say about my work is that I'm trying to transform extremely complex products into more palatable bits. My goal is to make the Web3 user research open source so we can make it better and benefit from one another. And also, I would love to make the explorative research and explorative design phase a mandatory step in any product lifecycle. So today's talk is about a new collaboration flow between designers, developers, and biz devs. It's a critique brought to the way things are currently handled. We'll try to go over together about what the issues might be of the present building process, how they affect the product's life cycle, and we will explore how might we collaborate better from the start and how to be more inclusive. Today's talk is an open conversation. Hopefully this subject will set the wheels in motion, and I would be very happy to hear any ideas of suggestions of how might we better this proposed approach. So, the Web3 UX, why do we even talk about this? Is there an issue? So anecdotally, 70% of the user experience of a Web3 protocol or dApp is dictated by the smart contract. Smart contracts usually are not upgradable, so the experience should be flawless from the start. And if you don't know what that means, well, the user's experience in Web3 is made of the entire user flow and user journey, number of transactions until the goal is reached, and this could be translated in Web2 as the number of clicks in e-commerce until the user can reach its goal, gas spent by the user, displayed information. So what is the current situation of UX in Web3 now? Well, technology leads the product, which means the product is not user-centered. The products are extremely complex and difficult, and the development teams are more focused on solving the problems, which are localized at the smart contract level. And there are many levels in between the smart contract and the user. So this is what's happening. The development team meets, decides how the protocol or dApp will work. They will write the smart contract, and afterwards they send it to an audit. Usually there are multiple audits done, in average 2 to 4, and after the code has been audited and fixed, the development team decides to bring the design to the table. So basically, design is brought when all the user journeys, all the user interactions, all of the interaction experience has been set in stone, and there is no going back. So there is a tendency for technology to lead the product versus the other way around. This means that there is high likelihood of over-engineering, and unfortunately, UX becomes a byproduct. Tech people do not have the priority to put themselves in the user's shoes, which is not really an issue unless the entire experience depends on them. So let's check the downsides of this flow. The teams are siloed, which means there is zero collaboration. Any findings from research that require redesigning the experience is impossible. Design can improve the experience only by adding explanations and any tiny UX writing gimmicks. Design can only cosmetize. It cannot fundamentally improve the experience. Product building time is longer because everything is cascading, and onboarding and retention of new Web3 users is low due to the clunky experience and steep learning curve. So we've learned why most of the UX resides in the smart contract. We learned the current situation in the Ethereum product building and the issues. So how might we improve this state? So first of all, we all need to be open-minded and flexible to replace our common behaviors. This means stepping out of our comfort zones and by changing the beaten track. The deliverable is the user-facing product, not the technical smart contract backend product. Thus, having a goal and a target to get to a desired ideal outcome is a great place to start from. So this is not the product. This is the product. So a new way of working. Let's start from a process that has been proven to work very well. This is the double diamond process. It was popularized by the Design British Council in 2005, and is based on a diverge-converge developed by the linguist Bella Banati. The process suggests that a product process should have 4 phases. Discovery and definition, in which we are discovering the problems we need to solve, the needs of the user, and then we define our problem. This can be together made in an explorative phase, and then we have the development and the delivery, which is the iterative phase. So explorative design helps us do the right thing. Iterative design helps us do the thing right. This should become our mantra. So what could be a flow that respects the 2 important phases in a product development cycle, and it can also respond to the Web3 environment? So this is my new proposed product process for Web3, in which we separate everything into phases: the explorative, divergent phase, and the iterative, convergent phase. So let's break this down. The explorative divergent phase, it starts like this. So we have the stakeholder alignment. Everyone is brought to the table from the start: design, development, business. A designer will facilitate stakeholder interviews, and each team will map out their requirements, the user needs, technical constraints, business goals, and all of them are taken into account. Afterwards, a user journey is created based on each team's insights and requirements, like EVM constraints, security issues, user needs, pain points, KPIs, any business requirements. And all of these elements are incorporated in a high-level user journey map that will mark each step a user needs to take in order to achieve their desired goal. The user journey's assumed needs and pain points are probed in the generative research, and we basically speak to the real people. This is a very impactful moment in the process, since we are moving from merely assuming things to actually spending time and observing the people who will, in the end, use our products. In this step of the process, we are testing our ideas, and this may be the moment in which we might need to pivot. All of the unearthed insights and findings will be incorporated into the new user journeys. So just to recap, each team gets a voice. Each team can tell its own requirements. There is complete transparency and collaboration between the teams. Assumptions, ideas, and protocol design can be tested and researched in a very early stage. There will be no sunken cost fallacy. Nobody is emotionally attached to the idea. We can still be objective. We haven't lost and invested a huge amount of time and money. Okay. Oop. So, again, we just ran and conducted research. We have probed our assumptions. Findings had been incorporated into the new user journeys, and all of the stakeholders are aligned and happy. So we can now start the iterative phase. So the new journeys were validated by users and stakeholders, and now they are becoming the backbone of the project. Based on these documents and artifacts, the development team and the design team can start working in parallel. The prototype and smart contract writing phase is a very, very important step in which the two teams will need to have constant check-ins and will need to accommodate each other's findings, which means there is constant collaboration. Any change from the prototype that is tested in usability tests, and whenever the designer brings the findings, they will need to communicate them to the smart contracts. On the other hand, whenever the smart contract developers are finding different solutions or they are encountering unforeseen technical issues, they also need to communicate it to the design, and this will be repulled into the prototype. So there needs to be a constant collaboration, a constant back and forth between the design team and the development team. And after everything is done and ready, and the audits are done, and usability tests are done, then yes, we can ship a product that will be loved and mostly used by our users. So just to recap some benefits of the proposed flow, the team is fully integrated and not siloed. There is constant collaboration and back and forth between the design team and the development team, and also the business. And there are shorter building times and more time for research and testing. So something that I want you to remember and never forget, you have to love your users, because if you ignore them, they will ignore you back. Thank you.
Any question?
Yes?
So in the beginning you said that 17% of the user experience start from the smart contract.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we start by questioning that the user experience should not be coming from the contract itself, right? We should be able to reimagine the user experience, and not even if the contract is not helpful, we can still make a better user experience, can't we?
Yes, but then if you're thinking of a smart contract that decides for you as a staker, let's say, that you have to go through 7 transactions only to deposit and then to 4 other transactions only to authorize an app, then I believe as a designer, you can't really do anything about it. So this is why I'm saying that, unfortunately, a lot of the UX is dictated by the smart contract.
Do you have already like a case that you feel proud of, that where you have been able to smooth the way in for the user?
No, unfortunately, not really. This is a very new flow that I'm trying to implement with Threshold as well. Yeah, but I can tell you that in the past, when I worked with a SSI wallet company, and they were trying to make some sort of advancements, wages advancements for employees, while running explorative research, I have uncovered that neither the employees, neither the employers were happy about this idea, and their actual need was that employers had a lot of tokens, and then employees didn't have a high-risk profile to be paid in crypto. So what they needed was a platform with an input of tokens and output of fiat. So basically, they had to pivot, which was great.
I guess just a quick kind of additional clarification with that other point, that I think there is some decoupling between the smart contracts and the front end, say with the back end and with wallets as well. So newer wallets, or there's new things coming around multiple actions within one user operation. That's 4337. Things like that, I think, are going to also smooth these edges. So luckily, it's not just the smart contracts. There's these middle part that will also be changing. So I think that's a good process. For that.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not villainizing the smart contracts. there are proxy smart contracts that are doing the extra UX job for doing stuff for you as a user. So I don't think that's the issue. What I'm trying to say is that we need to collaborate more. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.